Hello and good morning, everyone. Only Positivity here. I do have my coffee with me today. Ready to ready to kick off podcast number 131 on this playlist that I'm looking to launch called Elevated Thoughts. So before diving into the topic of the day, let's go and start with a level set. As I endeavor upon pursuing knowledge and life experience in this next phase of life through fitness, photography, reading, cannabis, golf, and many more things. One habit that I've really formed is traveling. So this podcast essentially goes through some of my more recent travels, taking those lessons learned and applying them to my life. So for today, we're going to switch it up just a little bit. I've been fucking around with Notebook LM. I encourage everyone to go fuck with it. And not only with that application, with any AI applications. And, here's my thought on that, right? So I don't really give a shit what people think as far as their stance on AI and whatnot. I really don't give a shit. But for me, one thing that has really reigned true throughout my life and my career especially is that learning skills is imperative, right? Like never letting your skill set go stale. And so if anything, I feel like folks can get behind that. That's really helped me. I feel like, knock on wood, secure my place at work and just be an innovator, try new things. I'm a corporate douche, but anyway, what do you call? So I essentially what I did was I'm never afraid to share. I went ahead and typed out just a raw dogged Word document of everything I did in Palm Springs, California. And that's the trip where we're going through today. So I just went and typed it all out. And I asked ChatGPT to clean it up for me, right? Without fibbing anything, right? And then I took that and I fed it to Notebook LM. And then Notebook LM made a podcast on it, like two people talking. And granted, it's a little cheesy, right? It's a little corny. But I think it's just a good opportunity to use technology. And we've never had technology like this before. And I think you'll find when you get in there that it's not just like verbatim AI fucking slop. It's there's some tidbits in there, right? And I said it's a little cheesy, but there's some learnings in there. There's some lessons. And that's exactly what I'm about when it comes to podcasting and, endeavors like this. So where AI can help me out, I'm going to try and use it, right? Like, for example, obviously this is just an experimental thing that I'm doing today. But there, like, let's say for like videos that I make, right? I like for me, the art of capturing videos. Like, I don't ever want to change that. I like getting my camera out and going out and capturing moments. That's really fun for me, and I want to focus on that, right? Sometimes what's not fun for me is maybe some of the editing process or some of the minutia, the admin stuff that comes with photo and video editing and just kind of getting all of that together in your workflow. Sometimes that fucking pisses me off and it's admin work, right? But I still want to put out a good product, right? So I feel like AI will allow me to focus on the things that I want to focus on and remove the burden of the things that maybe I don't want to focus on. And so I encourage everyone to look at it from that lens. But anyway, let's go into this podcast, right? That Notebook LM made for me. And maybe I'll do one or two podcasts like this and we'll just see how it goes. But again, encourage everyone to use the technology, at least try it out before you make an opinion on it, right? And then, as always, feel free to leave me any feedback. And remember, only positivity. Thanks, guys. Here we go. Bing bang. Yee. Later, boys and girls.
All right, I want you to just close your eyes for a second.
Sure.
Picture this. It's late December. You're in Chicago. And the wind isn't just blowing, it's like personally offended that you exist.
Right. It feels personal.
It really does. And the sky is just this flat, oppressive gray. It feels like a ceiling just lowered right on top of your head. It's not just cold, it's a psychological weight.
Oh, yeah. It's that point in the year where winter stops being a season and starts being a personality trait.
Yeah.
And not a good one.
Exactly.
It gets into your bones, sure, but it also gets into your mood. You just feel heavy.
Heavy is the perfect word. And that's exactly where our source material for this deep dive kicks off. We are looking at a travel journal, a really specific detailed log from December 23rd to the 27th, 2025, and the mission to get the hell out of Chicago and execute the perfect holiday reset.
And I think mission is absolutely the right word. This wasn't a vacation in the, traditional sense.
Yeah.
Not about sightseeing or taking selfies.
Yeah.
This was a strategic operation to fix a state of mind. And they're heading to Palm Springs, California.
Which, on paper sounds like your standard holiday getaway. But looking at these notes, there's so much intention here. It's not just go where it's warm. It's go where the world stops spinning so fast.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that kind of caught me. They'd been to Palm Springs before, and the notes say the vibe back then was, let's just call it mixed.
Yeah, the dreaded family vacation dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
The journal explicitly contrasts this trip with a past one. On one hand, you had what they called pure joy energy.
Okay.
A brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and a one-year-old nephew. But, I mean, we all know the deal there. When there's a toddler involved, you aren't really on vacation.
Oh, not at all. You're on a relocation of your parenting duties.
Exactly. The kid is the captain.
You're doing zoo trips, you're sticking to nap schedules. It's cute, for sure, but it is work.
It's work. And then there was the darker side of that previous trip. The writer mentioned the other side of the family, their brother and his sister-in-law. And the words used are heavy and kind of toxic.
Kind of toxic. Oof.
That's a vibe killer.
It really is. And I think this is where our deep dive really begins, with the decision to go back, but to do it alone, just the two of them.
Right.
They realized that to actually reset, they had to subtract the variables. No toxic energy, no nap schedules, just them.
That's a bold move, though.
Mm.
I mean, returning to the scene of the crime, so to speak, just hoping the geography works better without the people.
Well, yeah.
So let's get into the execution. The trip doesn't start at the airport. It starts on their balcony in Chicago. This pre-flight ritual.
This was one of my favorite details because it just shows how serious they were about the vibe shift. They didn't just rush to the Uber.
No.
They sat on the balcony, smoked a couple of joints, and just breathed. See, to me, that sounds kind of risky. You're about to navigate O'Hare, one of the most stressful airports on Earth, and you're deciding to get high beforehand. That feels like playing on hard mode.
Or maybe it's a cheat code. Think about it. The stress of travel is usually all anticipation, worrying about the TSA line, worrying about the gate change.
Right.
By forcing a moment of stillness and, using a little chemical assistance, before they even leave the house, they're basically severing the tie to their work brain. They are entering that liminal space of travel already decompressed.
It comes in handy immediately because, of course, the universe tests them.
Of course.
They get to O'Hare, slide over there, and boom, an hour-and-a-half delay.
The classic holiday travel hurdle.
And this is usually where I would lose my mind. I'd be pacing, refreshing the app, glaring at the gate agent like it's their personal fault. But these guys, they go find a wine bar.
They grab a glass of white wine and they just sit. And the phrasing in the journal is so key here. They decided to let the chaos happen around them.
Okay, but that sounds great on a bumper sticker, but how do you actually do that? You're stuck. You're losing vacation time. How do you just let it happen?
It's about relinquishing control. I mean, the anxiety comes from trying to fix something you can't fix, right?
True.
So once you accept you're in a metal tube or a terminal and you have zero agency over the schedule, the only thing you can control is your own blood pressure.
And the wine probably helped.
The wine probably helped, yeah.
Fair point. So they finally board. 3.5-hour flight. And here we see the first, pillar of their reset strategy. Nostalgia. The writer throws on The Godfather Part 1.
A classic.
It is a classic, but it's violent, it's tense. Is that really relaxing?
It is, and here's why. The writer describes it as visiting an old room you still remember the layout of. This is a concept called reconsumption. When we're stressed, our brains crave predictability. Watching a new movie requires cognitive effort. You have to learn names, you have to follow plot twists.
You actually have to pay attention.
Exactly. But with The Godfather, he knows exactly when the horse head is coming. He knows exactly when Michael shoots Sollozzo. There are no surprises. It just lets the brain idle. It's an emotional safety blanket disguised as a mob movie.
That makes a lot of sense. It's less about the content, more about the familiarity. Okay, so the movie wraps up, they land in Palm Springs, and this is the moment I think everyone chases. The doors open.
The sensory shift.
Like our bodies unclenched. That's the direct quote. 65 degrees, sunny, soft air.
We really underestimate how much physical tension we hold just to brace against the cold. Your shoulders are up to your ears for 3 months straight in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And then suddenly, the environment isn't attacking you. That signal to your nervous system, you are safe now. It's instant.
And what's the first thing they do with that safety? They don't go to the hotel. They do the rental car, but it's functionless. The first real stop is the dispensary.
Priorities.
No shame in their game. They pick up pre-rolls and cartridges. The goal is explicitly stated. Keep the week mellow and smooth.
See, again, it's about tool acquisition. They are not leaving their relaxation to chance. They are literally engineering the biochemistry of the trip.
And then the food. They go to a place called Torikichi Ramen. Now, I have to ask you. You land in California. Why ramen? Why not tacos? Why not In-N-Out?
The writer calls it almost sacred. And I think it comes down to grounding. Travel, even a smooth flight, is, it's dehydrating and disorienting. You've been hurtling through the air. Ramen is heavy, it's salty, it's warm broth.
It's a gut bomb, but in, like, the best way.
In the best way. It pulls the blood to your stomach. It literally grounds you. It says to your body, we are here. We are putting down an anchor. It's comfort food in the most functional sense.
And to cap off the night, they get to the rental, smoke a little more, and put on Home Alone 2.
More reconsumption.
And the writer is, like, super strict about this. He says some traditions aren't optional, that's law. I kind of respect the discipline there. They treat chilling out like a job they have to do perfectly.
Well, rituals create a container for the experience, right? By watching Home Alone 2, they're signaling to themselves the holiday has officially started.
Okay, so day 2. They wake up, and the desert throws them a curveball. It's raining.
Which, for most people on vacation, is a total ruiner. You go to the desert for sun.
Right. But they go to the spot, it's a farm-to-table place, and the writer says the rain actually matched the vibe perfectly.
This is that radical acceptance thing again.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting the weather, they just lean into the coziness of it. They pivot. They go back to the rental, and they watch The Parent Trap.
Another nostalgia bomb. But do you think there's ever a point where you feel guilty? You flew all the way to California to sit on a couch, watch a movie you've seen 50 times. I think I'd feel like I was wasting the trip.
But that guilt is exactly what they're trying to escape. It's the productivity trap, the idea that even leisure has to be optimized and maximized.
Mm-hmm.
By watching The Parent Trap while it rains, they're actively rebelling against that urge to do. They're embracing the art of doing nothing.
And when the rain finally clears, they do head downtown, but without an itinerary. They just wander.
It's the concept of the flaner, just strolling, letting the city reveal itself to you rather than, hunting down landmarks on Google Maps.
It sounds nice. Just walk in until you find something cool.
It slows down time. When you aren't rushing to get to a reservation, the whole afternoon just stretches out.
Okay, so that brings us to Christmas Eve. They have a nice dinner at a place called Desert Moon, but then comes the part of the outline that really stood out to me. The night drive to Joshua Tree.
The peak experience.
Now, I gotta be honest. Driving into the desert, pitch black, middle of the night, that sounds a little creepy to me. Maybe I've seen too many horror movies. Isn't there a fear factor there?
Well, there's a primal element for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that fear is part of the awe. They drive out there, and remember, it just rained, so the air is just scrubbed clean.
The writer calls the sky milky soft.
Which is such a vivid description. And the stars are unreal, bright, sharp. But here's the insight that really matters. The writer says the view makes you feel quiet, not by choice, but because your brain doesn't know what else to do.
That's the part I wanted to dig into. We talk about clearing your mind all the time, usually while failing at meditation. But this sounds like the environment did the work for them.
It's the small self effect.
Yeah.
When you stand in front of something truly massive like the cosmos, or a canyon in your brain's default mode network, the part that obsesses over your to-do list and your anxieties, it just goes offline. It can't compete with the visual input.
So you shut up because you're insignificant.
In the best possible way. Your problems feel small because you feel small. It's a relief. It's a moment of pure existence without the whole narrative of who I am and what I need to do next.
I love that. Quiet not by choice. That's a powerful state to find. So they soak that up, head back, and sleep. Now it's Christmas Day, December 25th. And what is the activity of choice?
A hike. The South Carl Lichen Trail.
2.5 hours. And it is 80 degrees.
80 degrees on Christmas.
That has to mess with your head. You're hearing jingle bells in your mind, but your body is sweating through a t-shirt.
It creates this surreal disconnect, which I think really aids the reset. It breaks the autopilot. You can't just go through the motions of a traditional Christmas because the environment is so radically different.
And they didn't just slack off either. The notes mention a morning routine. Push-ups, squats, ab work, every single morning.
We're here to relax, but we're still alive.
Yeah.
That was the quote.
Yeah, why not just be a vegetable? Why the push-ups?
Because total lethargy just breeds more lethargy. By engaging the body, getting the endorphins going, feeling strong, you're actually relaxed deeper later on. It's active recovery versus just, rotting.
Fair enough. You earn the chill. So post-hike, they go to Thai Smile for Christmas dinner.
Which was apparently packed.
A lot of people had the same idea, pad thai over turkey. I respect it. But after dinner, they take a walk. And this brings us to what I think is maybe the most important part of this whole journal, the conversation they have.
The future self-talk.
Yeah. They start reflecting on the last 10 years of travel, where they've been, what they liked, and then they just start mapping out the future.
This is the why. This is the whole reason you do the reset.
But why can't you have that conversation at home? Why do you need to be in Palm Springs, post-hike, post-Thai food to decide where you want to go in life?
Because at home, you're in survival mode. Your brain is allocating all its resources to the immediate threats, the emails, the laundry, the commute.
Right.
You don't have the bandwidth to dream. You're just trying to get to Friday.
You're just playing defense.
Exactly. But here, they've had the ramen, they've seen the stars, they've moved their bodies, the stress hormones are flushed out, and suddenly the brain has space. It can actually look at the horizon.
The writer calls it a quiet promise to your future self. And that really hit me. It's not a resolution. It's a promise.
It's bonding. You're looking at your partner and you're saying, this is the life we want to build. And you can only really see that life when you step out of your current one for a few days.
It's the payoff. The whole trip, the weed, the movies, the hike, it was all just to get to the headspace where that conversation could actually happen.
All right.
But alas, all good things.
The return.
The last full day sounds lovely. Palm Springs Art Museum, breakfast at a French spot, just wandering. But then, day 5, the flight home.
And reality hits hard.
They get to the airport and they're delayed for hours again. But this time, the vibe is different. The writer describes this scene, the 6-7 battle.
A fight.
2 kids, described as 6-7,
Yeah.
just squaring up in the terminal.
The writer calls it extremely jarring, and it is. You've just spent 5 days in this curated bubble of soft air and starlight, and suddenly you are watching playground violence in a sterile hallway.
It's the ultimate welcome back to Earth moment. The writer just asks, just why?
But this is the test, right? This is re-entry shock.
How do you not lose it right there? How do you not let those fighting kids erase the Joshua Tree stars from your memory?
I think you have to view it as a withdrawal from the bank.
Right.
You built up this reserve of calm over the last 5 days. Now you have to spend a little bit of it to deal with the chaos.
Right.
If they hadn't taken the trip, that airport fight might have actually broken them.
Right. If they were already stressed, that would have been the snapping point. But because they were full, they could just observe it. Like, wow, look at those kids fighting. That's wild.
Exactly. You have the buffer.
So they finally get back to Chicago around 5 p.m. The trip is a wrap. And looking at this, I feel like we have a blueprint here.
We do. It's a formula for a specific kind of travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about checking boxes. It's about, what, 4 things? Nostalgia, using comfort media to soothe the brain.
Godfather and Home Alone, check.
Comfort grounding food like ramen. And, yes, using cannabis, if that's your thing, to lower the friction. Nature, specifically awe-inducing nature, like the desert stars. And then finally, reflection making space for that future self conversation.
It's a solid system. And you don't even need to go to Palm Springs to do it.
No, you just need to be intentional about it.
So here's the challenge for everyone listening. You might not have a trip booked, but you can create a pre-flight ritual for your weekend.
Find your transition point. How do you signal to your brain that the work is over?
Do you have a 6-7 battle energy in your living room? Or can you find that desert pocket? Maybe it's a specific album. Maybe it's walking around the block without your phone.
Maybe it's watching The Godfather and eating noodles. Whatever gets you to unclench.
Create the ritual, keep the promise to your future self, and try not to square up for a fight in an airport terminal.
Solid advice.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you on the next one. Stay chill.
Take it easy.